she got some help. In fact, from Delhi, there are organizations in Delhi that have supported her. And she's finally broken out of the thing. So, I mean, I'm sure in all the countries there are organizations, and people need to look it up, that support is available. Get support, get sorted. In UK, I mean, we have women fleeing domestic abuse. I mean, it just doesn't happen between a man and a woman. We have lesbians who come and there is abuse going on. There is gay men who go through abuse, and there is higher sort of number statistics for LGBT, which is lesbian and gay and the same sort of sexual relationship. And people don't talk about it because within certain cultures, within certain communities, parents don't even want to accept. And as we raise more awareness and people are identifying themselves with certain relationship and certain sort of sexual genders, and people and some parents don't want to accept, and the abuse takes place within the parents and the child, and we end up having them on our services. So there is a lot going on, and I know the lady there wants to ask a question. Yeah, before I go on, yeah, thank you. Would you like to introduce yourself? And
Hi, I'm Rita Henley Jensen, and I'm editor-in-chief of Women's E-News. And the minister's question deeply troubled me. And so I want, I guess, a clarification. Many of the arguments that we hear is that this is the natural order of things. Men hunted and women stayed home and took care of the family, which anthropologists and archaeologists no longer agree that is factual. I thought that your question was heading towards that direction, and so please correct me. Did we know any societies where this doesn't happen? And I think that's a significant question, but it points to, you see, this is all normal. It's not normal. And even if it were, we would have the power of change. But the acceptance that this is the way things are and should be and have always been is frightening. And so I would like the minister to clarify his question. Did, in fact, was the implication of his question?
I think she has taken in different sense. It was not that in that sense. It was with the sense of learning. Whether they are in any society, they are really in genuine sense of the term. They are equal in the family, and there is no violence. That is what we want to learn. There is nothing to justify. We are all against it.
No, thank you. And just because I think I had responded saying that it happens in all cultures, and we work with women with all cultures. We have an open door policy for all women. So, and I'll tell you, the cases and the women that access our services from different cultures, and they all have similar issues. You know, initially people said mother-in-law, father, everybody has got similar issues. It happens, and the issue is there. Chaitali, please.
I just want to respond to you. It's saying that it is like a cycle which just goes. A man sees a few women and seeing her cleavages, he gets excited, he can't do anything, and then he goes to the corner and rape one 6-year-old girl. Well, is it because of that a man would go and rape a 6 years or a child because of that man and because of his pervert, intention that women should not dress up? Number one. Number two, yesterday I went to an outlet. I liked one dress. I dressed up also. And my friends told me that I'm looking good. But then I realized that, I don't wear this revealing clothes. But yes, given a chance, I would have really loved to wear that. But then I don't wear. So over here, I'm here as a representative of my organizations. I'm working as a Rotarian. I think that I'm blessed and I'm privileged, but still I'm not empowered to wear what I want to wear. I think it should be noted. And because this is again a perversion, it is not about the man that who's wanting to do. Even a man, he's abusing domestic animal. So this is not that it is a sick Actually, it is very sick.
All right. Again, I come from a place of physiology. What is behavior? I ask everybody. What is behavior based on? Biology, unfortunately, and psychology, and a bit of everything. It's a combination. But a lot of behavior is based on our emotions, and emotions are based on psychology. And a lot of this is to do with our health. Okay? There's hormonal imbalances that will happen. If we are going through menopause, we're going to get hormonals checked out because it affects, we're depressed, we're down, we get hormonal help. So in the same way, the diet today, the health issues, we don't exercise, food, contamination, all this, do not underestimate how much that impacts our health and how we function as human beings. It affects our mindset, it affects the way we think, the way we feel. So what you call perversion, what you call mental illness, a lot of this could be really based on a lot of other stuff. That could be inherently they're deficient and they've got other problems going on, and psychological problems. And it becomes a cycle. People who are high on cortisol levels, high on testosterone, will be violent. And later on, they will wonder what happened? What the hell happened? And it is because everyone's so stressed out. We are not taught how to deal with stress, how to cope. And we act out. We act out as mothers, we act out as fathers. We all act out in some way. We lose it. We all lose it and think, shit, why did I do that? Why? I said I don't have answers right from the beginning.
And I
But
think
I'm aware. Like I said, I'm a health provider. I work with people with injuries and backs. And they come in and they say, I don't know why I keep doing this, Lana. And there's other stuff I address. I look at their lives. I look at their food. I look at their diet. I look at their lifestyle. I look at their body. I look at it all. And I make suggestions. What I can't do, I point them in other directions. Because you have to. We all have been talking about mind, body, soul, mind, body, spirit. Yes, the reality of everything comes back to health. This body of ours is this is the vehicle. This is what we put in here. Food affects us.
well, I
Everything
think
affects us.
totally agree with you, and I think your message definitely, correct me if I'm wrong, is to make sure that do not live in isolation, integrate and talk about your health issues, do something about it, because it's your soul that you need to look into and see where it can help you. And there are a lot of services available if there is emotional abuse and or mental abuse. You need to go and get some help. Do not put up with it. Am I right?
Yeah, but I'm going back
in-
to basics. Basics. I mean, we all talk about sleep,
yeah.
good diet, exercise, and time out.
Yes.
Everyone talks about meditation, everyone talks about yoga, but it comes back to that. If in schools, go back to education. In schools, if kids are taught from day one
Yeah.
how to breathe properly, how to do some small meditation, how to exercise. Exercise is vital for our hormones.
Okay.
How much of us actually put in day-to-day time to exercise? And lastly, again, food. How much do we know what we eat?
Okay, thank you. I think we are digressing from the topic that is sexual violence. It's not my fault, and I think I want to bring in a case study. Well, it's actually a real study that happened 2 months ago. Our service was approached by a young woman in her early 30s who had 2 children. Now, her husband does a night shift and she does a day shift, and she has got 1 child who is being looked after by the grandfather because the mother-in-law died some time ago. Now, apparently, she realized that her father-in-law was eyeing her for quite a while, and he started knocking on her door in the evening, like at night when the son is doing his night shift, and she would not open the door. And it got to a stage where she started getting frightened. Now, one night, the father-in-law, being elderly, started shouting because he was not well and he was screaming. So she had no choice, open the door and go and sort of find out what was happening to him. Unfortunately, she was raped on that night because he made an excuse. I'll tell you, it's really sad. Now, the dilemma for this woman was, he told her that if you tell my son, I'll tell her that no, you came to me. So it was a repeat sort of victimization of this particular woman. Now, what I want to do is, I will tell you what has happened, but I will not discuss the story in full. Let us have a discussion. What should this woman do? Who wants to be the first one to say? What should she do if she's being victimized by her own father-in-law and she can't tell her husband what the father is doing and she wants to be into a relationship? Right. Well, that's what we'll discuss, and then. Do you want to have your input in that?
No, I don't think it's very easy to say in this situation, but I just know that when women stand up for what is the truth in their hearts, they not only change their own lives, but they also change the lives of those around them. So there are often situations in my own life where I've had to choose between being a single mother and continuing in an abusive relationship. I chose to be a single mother because I thought that the example I would set for my children would be better than if I stayed in the marriage. And I think even now when I advise women about this, it's a short-term pain, but it's a long-term gain. So it's difficult to stand up to society, and it takes a lot from you to do that. But when you do it, it's worth it in the long term, and it's better for your soul. And the other thing is, not all men are the same. So I'm married to another man now, and he could not be more different from my first husband. And so I think even within societies, we do have choices, and there are all kinds of people. And I think it always starts with us, and with our decision, and with our courage.
Thank you. Do you want to have a say?
I think that she should come out and tell her husband, to be honest about it. If she doesn't tell him, if he finds out later, that would be a problem.
Thank you.
I think she should have gone against her father-in-law, and instead of father-in-law frightening her, she would have said that if this is going to continue, then I'm going to make your life miserable, and I'm going to go in public and relatives and my husband. So this is going to be very, very embarrassing for you. So she should raise her voice, she should be vocal. And that's how I feel like.
As she said that we cannot generalize in such situations about the women, because all women, not all women are, they have that strength within them, depending on that surrounding which they are living in. Maybe the father-in-law was extremely ferocious, extremely, violent. So, but the crux of the matter is that she has to come out. Now that coming out can be either to share it with her husband if she has that trust level, or to go against her father-in-law, or to connect to any other support group, which could be from her peer group, from her friends, from her anybody who she communicates on a regular basis, or a social organization, in whatever manner, unless and until that woman herself doesn't come out of it and raises her voice in whatever manner, definitely the solution is never reached.
I think she's right. I think if she's just been raped, she'll be under a lot of stress. Her anxiety levels will be right high. If she's going to confront her husband, who she doesn't fully have complete confidence will support her,